This one's about a prayer I just kind of wrote a couple days ago. I know it's been hard for me in recovery. I haven't prayed in a really long time, so I kind of look towards other people to, know the devotion and things like that for it. So here it goes. In my town, it's known that if you pray with Edna Sweeney, you're praying at your own risk, buddy. She doesn't seem like much, but at the same time, she's everything. She's got bags under her eyes that look like bread crust. She's got cobwebs pushing out of her skull. When she walks, her bones click, click, like the hour hand of a clock being forced to move time faster. And I understand when I look in her eyes, they look scared when they shouldn't be, swimming around her face like a fish afraid to drown. But I tell you what, the fact that at any moment she could fall to pieces is what makes her beautiful, because she knows every breath of hers is getting more ghost-like. She knows her lungs look like white paper bags filled with bruises. She knows her heart is like a bloody fist trying to pump out life without breaking the knuckles. But she's down with that, because her faith is endless. She says she has an invisible bar that she uses to get out of bed, sometimes out of death. She says she keeps Jesus in her mouth, so when her jaw locks up, he'll chop the food for her. Or when someone disrupts church, JC is going to have to wrestle her tongue like a 2-ton juicy alligator. But that's all right. It always has been before. But these gifts God gave her, the miracles from scratch, the endless faith, it wasn't easy and it wasn't cheap. Edna, she doesn't have any more apples on her family tree, and she ain't got the seeds to plant a new one. For a long time, all Edna ever wanted was a house that wasn't haunted. And you want to talk about lonely, she's gone years without being touched. And she's practiced grief behind locked bathroom doors, sometimes crying so hard it shook her face, sometimes crying so loud, so heavy, the echoes would bounce off the wall and give her black eyes. But if you ever try to pull apart the purpose of her prayers, you're going to see a 96-year-old woman pumping up like a pissed-off piano player, punching the keys and say, don't doubt it, because it takes a lot of pain to pray this good. I feel it sometimes, but I got to a moment in my life when the person I loved the most left it without any warning, with no note, not leaving me a shadow to hide in, with nothing. So, God knows, I was holding my breath until he was going to tell me it was all right. So, without anything to risk, my last resort, I prayed with Edna. And she didn't scream or yell. She didn't throw or break things. She didn't beat me with the Bible. She just kneeled beside me. And I was scared, because people that came into Edna's before, they'd bring blessed knee pads, nickel-plated rosaries, their best Sunday bulletproof vest, and they'd always come out beat up, sometimes crawling, sometimes limping, sometimes on stretchers, but most of the time healed. So when I saw Edna kneel beside me, as quietly as a kitten's yawn, folding her fingers like a fleshy woven basket, and bowed her head, I couldn't tell you what that was like. It was endless, because I didn't see a person, I just saw a soul. And at that moment, she looked up and she said, if you ask, you can have what I got. And right when those words left her lips, a breeze came through a cracked window, crawled into the ground, and sucker punched me. And I exhaled everything hate, everything fear, everything. And I was left holding my stomach, gasping without air, gasping like my life was on the line and nothing was going to save it. And Edna mercilessly took a long time just to smile. And right after she said the words amen, I started to breathe again. That's it, thank you.